Welcome to freepicks.us. I'm Pete.
I'm Brandon.
And we're here to give you guys some picks against the spread for NFL Week 9. First matchup we have is the 49ers 7-0 at Arizona Cardinals 3-4-1. 49ers in my power rankings, top 4. Have a great defense. Their front 7 is amazing. The Cardinals aren't a bad team. They've stayed in some games. They're coming off a loss to the Saints with Drew Brees back, so they'll probably make it a game. My pick is, if I had to choose, I would choose the 49ers -10. I'm probably not going to bet on the game. I don't know if the 49ers are going to cover, considering what they did last week to Carolina. They should cover, but I'll probably be off this one. But if I had to pick, it would be 49ers -10.
It would be more of a money line pick for me, going with the 49ers, but I think it's going to be a pretty easy win for them this week, considering the Cardinals are kind of hurting right now, especially offensively. They're missing David Johnson, and they're missing the other 2 backup running backs for David Johnson. Darrell Daniels is out, Chase Edmonds, DJ Foster. So there's a lot of injuries on that team, so I really expect the 49ers to get an easy win on the money line. Probably cover the spread too.
That's not a game that I'm going to bet this week. Next game we have is the Houston Texans 5-3 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars 4-4. This game's in London, so
no home advantage.
Whoever gets out there first, whoever deals with the time difference better. The first matchup between these teams early on in the season, the Texans won, but basically the Jaguars missed a 2-point conversion to win the game. That was a close game. That was Gardner Minshew's first start.
And I think he's going to pick it up from there. I really think they're going to have a good offensive attack. He's definitely more comfortable within that offense now that he's got a few games under his belt. And I really expect Gardner Minshew to play very well, because knowing that Nick Foles is coming back
in 2 weeks,
he's going to want to keep that starting position. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to give the edge on this one probably to the Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm with the Jaguars as well. It would be my upset of the week. It's not much of an upset because the Texans are only favored by 1.5, but you're going to get a decent line, picking the Texans money line. The Jaguars money line. So I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Next game we have is the Washington Redskins 1-7 at Buffalo Bills 5-2. The spread is the Bills -9.5. The Redskins have a sneaky good defense. They held the 49ers to 9 points 2 weeks ago. Then last week they held Kirk Cousins to 19. Obviously still lost the game. Their quarterback position, they don't really have a quarterback, so they don't really have an offense. Adrian Peterson, he's getting old. He's still running pretty well, but I expect the Bills to win. It's another game that I just can't touch the spread, because at 9.5, the Bills, they didn't cover against the Dolphins when it was -14. They won somehow by 10, but it was only because of an onside kick that they ran in. So, like I said, I do like the Bills to win the game. I don't think they cover. They could, but it's not a game that I'm going to bet on.
Yeah, the spread's definitely scary. 9.5 is a lot of points for the NFL. And like you said, if you can't cover against the Dolphins, then what are the chances you can cover against the Redskins? But the Redskins are banged up. The Bills have lost a couple games here. They started off the season hot. They've been cooling off, but I expect them to get back on track with a win. I feel pretty confident on taking the Bills on the money line.
Yeah, Bills money line. I'd actually take the Redskins plus 9.5. I'd buy it up to 10 though if I was going to bet the game. The next game we have is the Tennessee Titans at the Carolina Panthers. Titans are 4-4. The Panthers are 4-3. Panthers -4. So I really expect the Panthers to bounce back after last week. I don't think anybody has seen that type of blowout coming. A lot of people that I follow, I picked the 49ers to win the game. I did not think that they were going to blow them out like that. Kyle Allen actually showed, some signs of being human. He's been a pretty decent quarterback in the last few weeks since Cam Newton got injured. So, but, the Titans, they're coming off a win to the Bucs, which they really shouldn't have won. The week before that, they played the Chargers. They won because of a goal line fumble, basically by Melvin Gordon. I still like the Panthers in this game. Like I said, I like them to bounce back. I like them to cover the spread. I wish it was at 3. It started at 3.5. That's when I was trying to lock it in to buy a half point, get it to 3. I think even 4, they still cover. But like I said, if you want to buy a point, I would think that would be the best option to get it to 3, and I think they cover.
Yeah, I think the Panthers, they've been playing very good football ever since Cam Newton went down. Like you said, Kyle Allen's been playing very well. He's stepped up and really shown that he can lead an offense. He struggled last week, so I would probably expect him to bounce back this week. This is kind of a game I could really honestly see going either way. I'm definitely going to leave it off my bet slip for the week, but if I did have to go with a Moneyline team, I would just go ahead and go with the Panthers because I think Kyle Allen's gonna have another good game. Cam Newton will be coming back here within the next week or 2, so he's probably going to want to show his stuff a little bit more before he has to go back to riding the bench, because I don't think anybody's questioning whether or not he's going to replace Cam Newton.
Yeah. So the next game we got is the Chicago Bears 3-4 at Philadelphia Eagles 4-4. The spread is the Eagles -5. Rightly so. Chicago just doesn't really have the offense. Mitchell Trubisky hasn't shown us much. The spread is, -5. I could see Chicago covering. I could see it being a close game. But the Eagles coming off a win against the Bills, in good fashion. Especially after the week before that when they got blown out by the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. They're in a hard division, so I expect them to. I think they have a real similar talented squad. I think the deciding factor will be the offense. The Eagles just have more weapons. Carson Wentz is tremendously better than Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
I would have to go with Eagles -5 if I was going to bet it. It's another game I'm probably not going to touch. Maybe Moneyline Eagles. We'll see.
I really like the Eagles -5 in this one. I think they're a lot better than their record reflects. They have a tough defense, and like you said, they have all kinds of offensive weapons. Deshaun Jackson is going to miss this game as well. So they're going to be missing a little bit from the wide receiver position. But I don't think Carson Wentz will have a problem finding some other guys and getting some other guys involved. And I think the Eagles will easily cover the spread on this one.
Yeah, me too. Next game we got is the Minnesota Vikings at Kansas City Chiefs. Vikings 6-2, Chiefs are 5-3. This is a game that's the line. There is none, so we're gonna keep you guys updated in the comment section on who we like in this game. Description. If Patrick Mahomes comes back, I probably wouldn't touch the game. I think they would win. If they have Matt Moore, then I like the Vikings. Earlier on in the week, I think the spread was -3 Minnesota. So if it stayed somewhere around there, I would like Minnesota. They're kind of rolling right now. Their defense is good. Kirk Cousins playing good. The Chiefs have shown signs of good defense, but in other games, they've gotten torn up, especially by the run game. Dalvin Cook will probably have a great game. But we'll let you guys know once the spread gets announced.
Yeah, with this one, a big factor is going to be obviously whether or not Mahomes plays. If he does play, though, is he going to be 100%? Obviously, Minnesota's got a high-powered offense. Kirk Cousins throwing to Stephen Diggs, Adam Thielen, like you mentioned, Dalvin Cook, and the Chiefs' secondary has struggled at times as well. So those high-powered offensive weapons, I could see Minnesota putting up some big points. The question is can the Chiefs match that, and will Mahomes be throwing? As of the latest ruling, he's out, but it's still questionable, still up in the air, so we'll see how that goes.
So this next game is the stinker of the week. The New York Jets 1-6 at Miami Dolphins 0-7. The Jets, they're favored by 3. This game, literally, I think the Jets have a better team. Obviously, Sam Darnold, I would put him better than Ryan Fitzpatrick. But the thing about this game is the Miami Dolphins have shown some signs of being an all right team, but they got rid of like everybody on their whole team.
Nobody wants to play.
Yeah. So it's this kind of game. Like, okay, which team is actually going to show up to play on Sunday? Are the Dolphins going to like try to get their first win, or?
It's a good question. I mean, and if they do get the win, what does it really matter at this point anyway? So,
and the Jets are 1-6 too. So
right. It's almost about the worst teams here, other than the Bengals, who have yet to win a game. Who they sat Andy Dalton this week, by the way. So I wasn't too happy about that. We'll get to that later. But yeah, the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins are a couple of the most atrocious teams in the league. Honestly, if I were them at this point, I would try to lose so I could get the number 1 draft pick. If I had to pick one in this game, I would just take the Jets money line. Because I have more faith in Darnold than I do Ryan Fitzpatrick. And as a Bucs fan, I've seen plenty of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and he can shine at times, but I don't think he's an offensive powerhouse enough to lead a team like the Dolphins into a win this weekend. So I think that Darnold will come out on top with the money line with the Jets on top.
Yeah, I like the Jets too, but this is definitely not a game that I'm going to throw anywhere in my tickets just because they're 2 bad teams, and I'm not trying to bet on bad teams.
Yeah, it's not fun to watch.
No. The next game we have is the Indianapolis Colts 5-2 at the Pittsburgh Steelers 3-4. Spread's pretty much pick a -1 Steelers. This game, after watching Mason Rudolph come back, have a slow start after getting knocked out a few weeks ago against the Ravens. Colts have Jacoby Brissett. He's no questions asked, better than Mason Rudolph. The Colts are a good team. They have a really good defense. The Steelers, they're playing in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense has really stepped up this season. If they didn't lose Ben earlier on, they would definitely be a threat in that AFC.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Steelers are a great team defensively. And on top of that, last week, James Conner's had his coming out party. He had 145 yards on 22 carries. So he came out and showed his previous career high before that, I believe it was like 55 yards. So if that running game can stay consistent, I like the Steelers to win this one over the Colts on the money line. But it's a game I'd probably leave off my bet slip this weekend because it's kind of a coin flip. I can really see it going either way.
Yeah. I actually like the Colts in this game. I just think that they have more to play for right now, and they're a pretty good team. So I expect them to win against the Steelers.
So a money line pick wouldn't be bad for the Colts if you're looking for good value on the bet.
Good value on the bet. Yeah, I do think they win. They played a hard defense last week in Denver. Somehow pulled it out. I think this would be the same type of game, probably low scoring. But like I said, I like the Colts. Next game we have is the Detroit Lions 3-1 at Oakland Raiders 3-4. Raiders by 2. So this game is pretty much 2 kind of sneaky good teams. They play good ball. The records kind of reflect different than what the teams are. I mean, the Lions are pretty much in every game. They don't get blown out. They play hard ball. Matthew Stafford can launch the ball. We've seen that. I don't know which way I would go with this. It's in Oakland. I think pretty much this is a coin flip game for me. I'm probably not gonna put it in any type of bets. If I had to choose, I would take the Lions plus. I would try to get it a plus a field goal because they play close games. They only lost by 1 to the Packers. That would be my pick if I had to choose.
Yeah, like you said, they're both kind of sneaky good teams. You kind of never know what you're going to get from them week in and week out. Matthew Stafford, though, for the last few years, he's consistently like a top 5, top 8 guy in yardage and usually touchdowns as well. And if I had to take one as well, I'd probably go with the Lions. I'd be with you, but it's something that I'm going to leave off my bet slip just because it's one of those games I could really see going either way. Gruden wants to get his wins up a little bit and try to make a playoff run. He's getting paid all that money, so I'm sure that they're expecting him to as well. But I'd go with the Lions if I was going to put it on the slope.
Yeah, same here. So the next game we have is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2-5 at the Seattle Seahawks, 6-2. Seahawks by 6 so it's in Seattle. You know how that place gets very loud. The Bucks, somehow the Bucks do play better teams on the road. They play better. Like they went to LA and beat the Rams. But I just think the Seattle Seahawks are one of the best teams in the NFL right now. They're actually a sleeper. They're really high, like good odds to win.
Right.
Like if you were betting the NFC Championship, because you have so much strength in that conference. But I'm not saying we're both Tampa Bay Bucks fans, but I just cannot see Jameis Winston is a complete disappointment. They have a pretty solid squad, but with having Jameis Winston back there, I could really see Seattle torturing him back there.
I agree. Yeah, Winston's not a very good quarterback under pressure, as we've seen many times over the past few years. And over the last couple of years, he's also leading the league in turnovers, so interceptions and fumbles. It's a pretty bad stat to have when you're a quarterback and you're supposed to be a franchise guy. But having a quarterback in Winston, it's another kind of player where you might have a 150-yard game with 5 interceptions, or you could have a 400-yard game with 3 touchdowns and 0 picks. And he's definitely got the offensive weapons surrounding him in order to make that happen. At this point, do I have faith in Jameis Winston to make it happen and to command the game? Absolutely not, especially against the Seattle Seahawks. Like you said, they're one of the best teams in the league with one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
And I could easily see Winston having another 4 or 5 interception day, as much as it pains me to say.
Yeah, and actually, I really like this bet, the -6. Russell Wilson is an absolute stud. I just can't see the Bucks keeping it within a touchdown.
-6 I think is a lock almost for the Bucks.
Yeah.
I think this spread should be more around -12, -13.
Same. Yeah, especially at home. That's basically only saying they're a 3-point favorite with getting home field advantage. That means that it would be like even if they were playing in Tampa Bay, I just don't see it. I think Seattle's a much better. You got Russell Wilson versus Jameis Winston. I think Russell Wilson's going to show out. So
yeah, I agree. And I really don't see the Bucks covering that.
And if you're really worried about maybe the spread or something, you go ahead and throw this pick in a teaser and get it down to Moneyline. And Seahawks are not losing to the Bucks. So on to the next game, we have the Cleveland Browns at the Denver Broncos. Cleveland Browns are 2-5, and the Denver Broncos are 2-6. The Browns are actually favored by 3. I more think it should be like a money line. A pick 'em game, because I just don't see how the Browns are like favored by 3 going to Denver. I know Denver's obviously like with Joe Flacco, their season's been a disappointment. They have a real good defense. They have a good running back in Lindsey. With Joe Flacco back there, it's kind of like, I don't think that their season. I think their season's pretty much over. So the Browns, the same thing. Like they're basically not living up to that preseason hype.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Baker Mayfield. Last year, it looked like he was going to take the league by storm, and even at the beginning of this year, if you would have been betting against the Browns, you would have made a lot of money because they were the favorites on a lot of those games they lost.
Yeah.
If you would have taken the money line against them for the first 3 or 4 weeks, you'd have been doing very well for yourself. And in this game, I think I'm going to have to lean towards Denver. Both of these teams are pretty worried, but being that it is in Denver, Baker has been struggling lately. Denver's a tough defense, and on top of that, 5,000 feet up, it's kind of hard to play football without losing your oxygen, losing your breath. So with all that taken into consideration and just the fact that Baker's been struggling, I'm going to lean towards Denver. And also you see like a couple days ago, Baker was snapping at reporters and starting to lose his cool and stuff. So, we'll see how he responds to that. He could be the type to respond healthily on the field, but I'm not sure how that will translate into this game.
Yeah, I'd actually take the Browns -3, but like I say, it's not a game I'm going to bet on. I'm betting on teams that are 2-5 and 2-6.
This one's
they're too close, and the Broncos could easily win the game, so I'm not going to bet on it. I would take the Browns, I guess, to bounce back. But Yeah, it's not a game I'm going to bet on. So.
Yeah, I would leave it off. I was leaning more towards Denver on it if I did have to make a pick.
This next game, the Green Bay Packers 7-1 at the Los Angeles Chargers 3-5. Lock of the week right here for you guys. You heard it first from the Packers -3. Lock it in while you can. Its spread's going to go up. The Packers are rolling.
Put your house,
your
whatever.
car, your grandchildren's trust fund.
You've got Bitcoin. Sell it all.
Put it on the Packers -3. The spread, I think, already actually went up to -4 on the sportsbook that I use. But I don't really think it's going to matter. I see them winning by at least a touchdown. The Chargers are horrendous. Chargers are like Phillip Rivers compared to last year. I just don't know what's going on with them. They don't have a bad team. Like they got some players, but they're bad.
You know who they don't have?
Who don't they have?
Aaron Rodgers. That's the guy that they don't have.
They do
We're
not.
talking MVP quality guy. 17 touchdowns on the year and 2 picks. Who else is doing that around here, guys? Can you not go with the Green Bay Packers on this one? You know that their defense is playing better this year, which is what's ailed Aaron all these years. You know, he puts up 30 points in a game and then loses, but they're starting to step it up. Aaron Rodgers is looking phenomenal, and I'm expecting a blowout on this one.
Yeah. I mean, with Mahomes being hurt, and I think it's safe to say Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league right now.
No doubt.
Russell Wilson somewhere up there with him, but he's just way too much. Anytime you have a chance to bet on Aaron Rodgers versus, Phil Rivers is a good quarterback, but I'm going to ride with Aaron Rodgers any day against anybody. So I really think this is a lock of the week. I think that whatever you put on it, you can put it in parlays, teasers, straight up. Bet whatever on it. They're definitely not losing to the Chargers, and they're going to beat them by more than a touchdown. So you guys heard it here first.
That's right.
Next game is the New England Patriots 8-0 at the Baltimore Ravens 5-2. Wow. The Patriots are favored by 3.5. This is a good game. This is actually, thank God, these last Sunday nights been, not too many good games. All right games last few weeks, but all year it's kind of really been iffy games. I think this is the real test for the Patriots. They've played a few teams that are all right, but in the most of all their schedule so far has been really barely winless teams.
Yeah, the Dolphins,
the Bills. The Bills are straight, but I don't know. I'm leaning. I think Bill Belichick will have some type of scheme draw up for Lamar Jackson, but will it work? That guy is he's special. It's in Baltimore, so you're saying the Patriots getting 3.5. Man, there's so many ways to look at this game. I'm leaning towards the Patriots winning, but I don't know if they cover. Especially if you get the 4. I think the Ravens are going to keep this thing close. I don't think it's going to be one of those 2-touchdown, 3-touchdown games with the Ravens. They're top of the division. They want to keep it that way. The Steelers are starting to come back up, so they don't want to let their foot off the gas in that division. But you got the New England Patriots. And
they have a great defense, obviously. Bill Belichick's had their defense solid there for a couple of decades now.
Yeah.
So you know what you're going to get from the Patriots. You know what you're going to get from Tom Brady. And I'm going to expect them to probably pull out a win, too. If I were going to bet on this game, I'd probably have the Patriots money line. Or alternatively, Baltimore plus 3.5, and I might buy that up a little bit.
4.
Yeah, if you got 4 points on that, I see the game being a close game as well, like you said. So I think if you were to buy up 4 points, I'd feel pretty comfortable on that. And then maybe they end up losing by 3 and stuff like that.
Exactly. And on some of those other games we touched on, the teaser, this is another game I would love to throw the Ravens on a teaser. Get 6 points plus 3.5. I don't see it. I think this is going to be a closer game than the spread kind of said. Because they are in Baltimore as well. So I can easily see Baltimore winning this game. I've learned over the years about betting against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna bet the spread with the Ravens. I would rather either go money line Patriots or throw them in a teaser and get 9.5 with the Ravens. But I do think the Patriots will win the game, but it'll be a close one.
Yeah.
And the last game of the week on Monday night, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the New York Giants. So Dallas Cowboys 4-3, New York Giants are 2-6. The Dallas Cowboys are -7, rightfully so. The Giants, I mean, they're in New York and they're still getting favored. New York has been too inconsistent. I've lost a few bets this year betting on them, so I'm completely off them. I think Dallas really bounced back against the Eagles. They showed out. They were healthy. They had Amari Cooper back. I mean, they had a few weeks there. They lost to the Jets, obviously, but I think they're back in their element. This should be a W for them. I'm not too sure about the -7. I just think it's like right there. I think the Giants possibly could keep it close. It's in New York. I mean, if I had to bet it, I would say the Cowboys cover. I would get it to 6.5, but man, after I bet on that Dallas New York Jets game, I thought that was pretty much guaranteed, and then they lost. I don't know. The Eagles have shown inconsistency as well. So when they played them, it was a Sunday night game. I'm not sure where they're at. I want to see what they do in this game.
I like Dallas to actually cover this one. I don't think they'll have too much of a problem with the Giants. They're pretty bad. The Cowboys, like you said, they've just got a big win. They're coming off a big win, and I think they're going to continue to keep that going. Another big factor is Dak Prescott is in negotiations right now with his contract, trying to get a new contract. And if you're ever looking for a player to play well, just wait for him to be in the middle of negotiations of their contract, and that's usually when they decide to step their game up to get that check. So I'm going to expect the Cowboys to cover this one. I don't think it'll be too close of a game. It is in New York, and New York is one of those teams, kind of like the Bucs, that every now and then they'll get a win against someone.
I'll buy it for 6.5. I think I might touch this game. But we'll see. All right, guys. Well, we really appreciate you guys watching. Until next time.